My name's Tracy Woods and I'm going to take you through exactly what Landlord Smart does. You may have heard of us and we are known for helping property investors to fit out and furnish their rentals in the smart way for very few pounds. That's exactly what we do. So by the end of this video, even if you're looking at us from a customer point of view and you have a project you want to furnish, or from an affiliate point of view and you know somebody that may be able to benefit from our service, this will show you exactly what we do and how you can get in contact with us to take things to the next stage. So what if I could give you a solution as a property person that would help you to achieve the standard and quality you want rather than what you can afford? As human beings, we're very often driven by the price of things, and by the time we get to the end of a property project, we have often overspent on the budget, and therefore this is one of the things that we then think about doing in the most cost-effective way, which can often impact the standard and quality that we get because we actually go for the cheapest option. This solution also has helped hundreds and hundreds of property investors retain their capital, not have to use their own money, and use an alternative method of fitting out and furnishing their property projects. It also helps you to maintain a healthy cash flow, knowing how you're spending your money and the expenditure that you have every single month, versus having a capital outlay all up front. And because you can claim monthly payments as expenses to your property business, it means that you would be 100% tax efficient in your business too. Now, when Landlord Smart was created back in 2016, the reason it came about was because the government, as one of their clamp down on landlords, decided to remove the 10% wear and tear allowance. This meant that we were outlaying capital on furniture within our furnished rental properties and we couldn't claim any of it back. So our mission at Landlord Smart was to help landlords grow their property businesses with a solution that gave them the ability to not use their own capital and do it in the most quickest and tax efficient way possible. There is a famous saying by John Paul Getty, the billionaire oil baron, and he said, if it appreciates, buy it, which is what we do with property, and if it depreciates, lease it. Now, we as property people haven't thought about leasing things that go inside of our property investments. But since Landlord Smart launched in 2016, we've helped our customers to keep over £1 million in their pockets. Let me ask you a question. What will give you the best rental rates? Would it be picture number 1 or picture number 2? Now, I hope that all of you are going to say that picture number 2 would definitely give you a better rental return, whether you were renting this as a room in a HMO or as an apartment on serviced accommodation, or even in a bigger build-to-let project. Why is number 2 likely to generate more rent for you? Because of the way that it looks. People do buy the image of what you're selling. And when everything looks amazing and it's been furnished to a high standard and it has a high level finish, you're going to achieve more rent in return. Now let me talk about how traditional property investors would go about a property investing project. They would get to the end of the project when they've probably overspent on their budget and they're now looking to furnish it and make it look amazing. So before Landlord Smart came along, these investors would go round different shops and they would find the items that they wanted to use to put into their property projects from different places, have to pay out for all of those items up front using their own cash at retail prices as well. So let's take this example here. We've got a total spend of £6,000. That's £5,000 worth of kit plus VAT. And that £6,000 in your property business goes down as a capital expenditure cost. which you can then write down over years through capital allowances. But it can take forever, and the percentage that you get back of that £6,000 you've outlaid is actually very little. Now, if we take the same example using Landlord Smart Finance, we can still source the items from people we want to source them from. But we will use trade suppliers, so we get trade prices, not retail prices. And there are lots of trade suppliers out there that will give you everything that you need, a one-stop shop. And not only do they give you everything that you need, they will deliver it and install it and take away all the rubbish, saving you all the time and effort of doing it yourself and sourcing things from 20 different places. And the beauty of using Landlord Smart is that rather than having your own money go into it, Landlord Smart Finance pays the bill to your supplier or suppliers. So in this instance, the £6,000 can be paid for you by Landlord Smart Finance, and it no longer goes down as a capital expenditure in your business. It now becomes a legitimate monthly expense spread over a 3-year term so that you know exactly how much you're paying. And in fact, because it's an expense, it's not you paying for it, it's your tenants or your customers. Here's a great example of a customer that has used us. So Stephen Turner and Ashley from Pure Executive Properties were introduced to Landlord Smart when we were just a very new business. They knew Tracy and Nigel, who set up Landlord Smart, and they were looking to set up a serviced accommodation business, renting units out to professionals in the area. For them, Landlord Smart was an absolute lifeline because what it enabled them to do was take on more and more projects. Now, this quote here says that they've used us 3 times in the last few months. The point is that these guys have actually used us 8 times and saved all that money, which has enabled them to build their serviced accommodation business far quicker than they ever could have done if they've had to pay out the upfront capital every project that they took on. Another great example for you of a customer, this is a slightly higher level with regard to a big unit that was furnished and paid for using Landlord Smart Finance. So Andy and Lloyd came to us because they had converted a pub into a big HMO. So this HMO had 3 floors. Each floor had 5 or 6 rooms, and each floor had a kitchen, and all the rooms had ensuite bathrooms. So not only did we help them by paying £13,000 for all the furniture that went into that project, but we also got them their money back for £16,000 that they'd already parted with from their business for kitchens and bathroom wear, etc. in that project. So that cash back in their pocket, £29,000 plus VAT, which they would have spent, can now be used to grow their business and move on to the next project that they want to do. So how exactly does Landlord Smart work? Well, we are a business that introduces our customers not only to suppliers, i.e. the trade suppliers that will do everything for you, but to the right finance that will enable you to build your business in the most profitable way. So you can see here we've got initial quote stage, we talk to you and you apply, the application gets approved and your goods are delivered by the supplier and we pay the bill for you. So the initial quote is where you would go out to your chosen supplier, these are trade suppliers, and get a quote from them, which you then pass to the Landlord Smart team. The Landlord Smart team will call you to discuss your project and help you to complete your application. Now, the reason we talk to you is because every single one of our customers is different, and we're not interested in just funding one project for you. We're interested in what your plan is for the future. If you're like the Stephen Turner example we gave you, where you're looking to ramp up a business and take on unit after unit after unit, in the next 12 months, you might not only need £5,000 of finance, you might actually need £50,000 worth of finance. So we want to know exactly what you do in property, what your experience is, so that we can help you complete the application and source the right type of funder to be able to fund your project now, but also in the future. Some of the things that we will ask you when we talk to you. We want to know that you're spending a minimum of £2,000. Our funders aren't interested in just funding a £200 sofa. They want the minimum to be £2,000. We also like somebody within the business to own property. Now, if you are a director of a business and you don't own property, but you have other skills, so you've been involved in property for a long time, we may still be able to get finance for you. And the most important thing is you must be running as a company. We can only deal with people running professional property businesses, i.e. a limited company or an LLP. Now let me give you an example of our finance. So let's take that purchase value of £5,000. That's before the VAT is added. Our finance is on a default term of 3 years. So you pay that back over 3 years. And the approximate monthly payments for a brand new company. So this is a company you may have created yesterday or only a few months ago. If we class any company that has not got 3 years of trading history and accounts as a new company. So the monthly payments would be approximately £194. Now, if I told you that that was going to cost you £6,995 to be repaid over 3 years, you would probably think that that's expensive. But the benefit of using our finance is that you can offset every monthly payment as an expense, which means out of that total interest that is paid, £1,995, you can actually claim corporation tax relief of £1,329. So in fact, the cost to you is £666 over 3 years to access £5,000 worth of furniture, white goods, electricals, or whatever you may have selected to go into your property. That works out at a rate of 4.44% interest, which is very, very low. And there isn't many places that you could actually borrow money at less than that rate and be able to claim back 100% of all those costs in your business as an expense. And you can see just down here at the bottom of the screen, if you have 3 years of trading in your property business and you've got accounts, that interest rate reduces to 1.36%. Again, we work with every customer to get the best rates possible. And this is just to give you an idea of the costs. Very often we can beat these costs that we quote here. And on our website, there is a calculator tool which will give you worst case scenario of how much it will cost you to actually fund your next project for furnishing and white goods and electricals and even possibly some of the refit costs as well. So what does Landlord Smart do for you? Well, we act as that hub between you, your supplier, and the funder. So because we have the expertise of the world of property, we understand the property business and your business. Therefore, we can source the right funder that will be able to support you in the growth that you have planned within your property business. We know the questions to ask you and the information to gather from you in the screening process to ensure that when we submit any finance applications, we are 99% sure that we will get funding for you. We don't like to send through anybody to finance if we don't feel confident that you will get funding. We have a full back office administration team, people that are involved in property, so they're experts, they understand the world of property. They will talk to you, they will help you through the process, and they will then liaise with all parties, the supplier, the funder, and yourself to ensure that we get things through as quickly as possible. We do give people an average of 2 weeks for finance to be completed, but we have been known to do it far quicker than that. And in the end, it does come down to your response as a customer to us as to how quickly we can get things done for you. And the last thing is the tax benefits that the finance actually gives you. And Landlord Smart will step in at the end of the 3-year term, and we take ownership of the items from the funder, because during the term of the finance, you don't own those goods. You're effectively renting them from the funder. We then take ownership and we can pass that ownership on to you. So at the end of the 3-year term, we will be in contact with you to discuss what you want to do going forward. Once your application has been checked and it's submitted through to our finance partner, we pass on all that information to our finance partner. And when they approve everything, they are going to be looking to issue lease documentation. So what is the finance company interested in? They're going to look at your company and they're going to say, is this a company property business that's been trading for over 3 years? If it has and you have accounts and we can show that it's a profitable business, then that's all they will need, because the lending is against the company and not you personally. If your company is new, or if it doesn't have 3 years of trading accounts, then they will want you to stand in as a director's guarantor because your company hasn't got the trading history. So that will mean that they will want to do personal credit checks against you as a director of the company. And they're also going to be interested in the amount of finance required, your net worth, your experience in property. So all the things and the information that we gather from you, the funders will look at them. So once we have your lease paperwork issued, we can set up the direct debit for you on the monthly payments, and goods can then be arranged to be delivered by your supplier. Now, in some instances, we have helped people who need to get delivery very, very quickly, and some suppliers will actually deliver on a next day basis if possible. In that instance, the suppliers are happy to take payment upfront and then reimburse you once you've actually got your finance in place. So there is a solution for you, whatever stage you're at in your project, whatever experience you've got, and where you are on your property journey. I mentioned about 3 years' time and what happens. So at the end of the 3 years, what's going to happen to all the goods that you've got in that property? Well, you can continue use of those goods. You can look to maybe replace them and take on new finance for new items, so keeping up your standards. We can arrange for disposal of the goods if you want us to, and we're looking to work with a UK charity to take away and use any unwanted goods from those properties in the future. Now, as part of our giving back, Landlord Smart doesn't just take money from you or from the funders when they give you funding. We also give back to a charity called B1G1, which is buy one, give one. And over the time, we have helped support people in India by giving days and days and days of shelter. So every time a customer uses us, we then donate to B1G1. If you want to get in contact with us about becoming an affiliate or about becoming a customer, then obviously our details are here. So we have a website that does have the calculator tool. It has a comprehensive FAQ section as well. We've got our email inquiries at Landlord Smart, and you can see our landline telephone number there. We also do have a mobile that can get you through to the office, which is 07765 230 666. We look forward to speaking to you in the future and helping your money go further as a landlord, or helping you generate an extra income if you join us as an affiliate.